All right. So the first question is from Huzzy. He says, "Hey Bradley, how does a press release organization page help SEO compared to just buying one-off press releases services from Globe Newswire or Access Newswire?" Because it becomes like a landing page. It's one of our primary tier one assets, primary branded assets. It has been for for at least 6 years, if not eight. Press Advantage organization pages, they look good. They act as like a blog roll or an archive page where it keeps track of like all of the posts that have been or press releases that have been published in that organization are all referenced right on that page. It's an embed hub. It's an embed hub or an entity hub, right? Where you basically can embed the Google Business Profile. You get an NAP reference, so a citation. You can get a link back to the site, but you can also embed the site if it's embeddable. You can also embed the ID page it's got a 1 by 1 pixel. So it's like a hidden um, embed that you can add the ID page into the ID page URL section or the secondary embed field in the Press Advantage organization page settings. There's a secondary embed option, and that's where the ID page goes. Or what I recommend you put the ID page, and then it can also connect Facebook page, etc. So they're very, very powerful. The organization pages when they're optimized and when you are publishing content, and that's part of the reason why we use them in the ID page, because then it ends up becoming like dynamic updates, right? The ID page, which is typically a static page, now has a kind of a dynamic aspect to it because it has an embedded Press Advantage organization page. And if you are publishing press releases, then every time you publish a release, it creates a new reference to that release in the organization page, which is embedded in the ID page. So it gets the bots crawl back to the ID page again. So it's very, very powerful for that. Let me see if I can give you an example of one. Trying to think of, I probably got a client site I could pull up. Give me 1 minute. I got it paused again, so stand by, guys. Oh, come on. Here's one. Here's an example. All right. This is for a tree service contractor. That's not what I wanted. Give me 1 minute. Sorry, guys. One more. All right. Here's an organization page, and I'll show the ID page in just a moment as well. All right. Let me grab the ID page. I know it's still paused. Give me 1 minute, guys. All right. Here we go. So here's an example. This is the Press Advantage organization page. And so this is what I was talking about. Now that looks like that's the home page. That is the home page. That should be the location landing page. So that needs to be updated. But here's an example. This is the organization page, right? See, they look good. By the way, there is an iframe version of it, which gets rid of this header. So you can, that's what we embed. So that's I underscore right there before organization. And you'll see it gets rid of that header and everything. So this is the URL that you would embed. But then if you take a look at the ID page, you'll see that here. That's the ID page. Oops, right here. So, and that's cool. Before it was showing it was blocked. But so here's what I'm talking about, because now every time we publish a post, that goes onto this organization page, right? And so it updates this section of the ID page. And then when you build links to this, right? Now you've got, whenever you're building links to this, you're powering up, think about it, all of the press releases that are referenced or linked to from within this archive page, basically. You're also getting the Google Map, Facebook page, and the website itself, plus the 1 by 1 embed, which is, I guess, hidden behind this now. But you can usually see this little tiny square right underneath this website preview section, and that's where the ID page goes. And here's the ID page, right? And so again, it's just creating this asset that not only can rank, but it looks good and it acts like a landing page because everything in here is specifically tied back to that one company. So we use this as a very critical part of our process for producing results for clients, and we have for many, many years. So it's just a really nice. And by the way, if you look at, like, this one was just published yesterday. Take a look at this. Like, you can see, like, these press releases look great. The individual releases do. Again, it's basically acting like a landing page. And it also, each individual release has all of the or at least a number of releases that are listed down here as well. So whether you're hitting the organization page with links or an individual press release with links, you're still getting to power up the other kind of related press releases. So it just becomes a very, very, like, I love Press Advantage, the site for building links to press releases. When I'm doing press release stacks, I always use the press release URL from Press Advantage as the target URL in the subsequent releases in the stack, instead of linking to like Yahoo or Globe Newswire or USA Today. I always link back to the Press Advantage domain because, again, or the organization page, because it's powering up this plus all of these assets plus all of the other press releases, if that makes sense. So that's why I prefer to use Press Advantage. The press release is published on Press Advantage as the target URLs within stacks, if that's clear. Okay. It's a good question, but we're going to move on.